Hello, everyone, and welcome to Brown Bag Lunch with me, Laura Collins, the athlete psychotherapist. I hope that you all are doing well. As you can tell, I'm not in my usual spot right now, and we're going to talk about that because this is part and parcel of my experience with the topic that we're going to talk about today. It's also really hot, so I apologize for the fan. Thank you to you all. If you are listening live, if you are listening later on the recording, so honored to have you here and spending your lunch with us today. I am so excited for this guest. She's one of my closest, nearest, dearest friends in all the world, and one of the most important people I turn to for all things career, consulting. Um, you know, we've been we met, I think actually, Cynthia, you were probably one of the first or second people I ever met when I came for social work school back in 2003. And kindred spirit ever since. So, everybody, I'd like to welcome to the stage Cynthia Wong, consultant and strategic partner. It is such an honor to have you here today.
It is an honor to be here, Laura. And yes, we go back many years and agree with the whole kindred spirit feeling. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for being here. Today, everybody, we're going to be talking about midlife, identity, and redefining success. We are at that time in our lives, and we've been having such really interesting conversations about this topic. But first and foremost, before we get there, Sin and everybody else, what's for lunch?
So, along with the midlife theme, I am having a fiber and protein rich quinoa salad because women of our age need to step it up with our fiber and protein. So,
Mhm.
that's my offering.
Very, very good. Excellent. Yes, everybody make sure you are hydrating and eating and doing all the things that we need to do. That's the importance of lunch. What am I having today? I had a bowl of cereal. The kids are in the other room and probably starving. Afterwards, we're probably gonna go get some sandwiches. So yeah, anyway, it is sweltering hot where I'm at right now, and I'm outside of New York City. I can only imagine what it's like in New York City. Are you guys okay over there, Sin?
It is also sweltering hot, and so we are trying the best we can to keep it cool. And
Mhm.
along with the midlife theme, we are hot because we get hot at different times during the day, whether we like it or not, and it's hot outside, so it's like doubly hot.
Yeah. Oh my God, 100%. Okay, well, let's get down to it because this time goes very, very quickly. Midlife, identity, and redefining success. Sin, tell us how you came to this topic and why it's near and dear to you.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. It's a lot of topics within one topic, but I'll just, since we don't have much time, I'm just going to start with the P word, which is perimenopause. It's a word that, I think that people don't talk about enough. I think there's more talk about it now, and I think that I'm happy to share the P word, my P story, as my midlife story, and how that's impacted sort of how I see myself as a professional, as a leader, as a person who supports other people in their own leadership, and what does it mean in terms of where we are in our lives and how we look at success. And so, you and I, we're both Asian American women. We grew up as children of immigrants. And so, I think that you could probably relate to a lot of my story of just really, you know, the theme of your podcast and the theme of a lot of your work is around like high functioning, high performing. That has been like a guiding theme for I think both of us, and that's what my parents taught me is the way to succeed in life. Just to always work hard, work harder than others, get noticed for that, and just keep working hard no matter what. And so I think that that is something that has driven me, and how I've kind of valued myself in terms of, oh, okay, if I keep working hard, keep my head down, just keep, working hard and pleasing others, that is just going to be what is going to make me successful and happy and thriving in life. So that's, sort of something that's followed me throughout my life. And then a few years ago, boom, just cracks started happening in my life. Things happening to my body that I call kind of whack a mole that I didn't have an
That is
explanation
an
for at the
amazing
time.
phrase for that. Hmm.
Yeah, it was like my ears are ringing one day, I have vertigo another day, headaches another day, acid reflux. It's all these different things that I thought were very disconnected, but just like hitting me in different places at different times. And it wasn't until many months later that I realized and learned that they were all connected to perimenopause, which is something that nobody warned me about, nobody talked to me about. I had to do a lot of just learning on my own through
Yeah.
podcasts and conversations and asking questions to figure out what it all meant. And so that really, affected my body in a lot of different ways that made it a lot harder for me to keep that whole identity of, powering through, hustling to get it done, and so on. So that really kind of, made me really start rethinking, what does success look like at this time while we are taming the chaos of our body through
Yeah.
perimenopause, and how to chart out something different based on what we're going through. So yeah, that's the long and short of it. I'd love to hear kind of just your own reflections, your own experiences, your own thoughts on that.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for sharing that, Sin. And I definitely want to get to what are your thoughts and feelings about what success means for you now that you are going through this journey and have this awareness. Let's end with that because that maybe is a great thing to reflect upon for everybody. I think for me, actually looking back, and I think about after I had my second kid, I was, late 30s, and I was already like this geriatric pregnancy. But I actually think that I probably started going through perimenopause around 39, and frozen shoulder, the aches and pains in my body, the fogginess in the brain, which people would say it's mom brain, but it would take things would just take a bit longer. The ups and downs of all the values, like I would be pre-diabetic in 1 year screen, and the next year I'd be fine. Of just constant state of anxiety, like waking up in the middle of the night and being like ready to go for the day, not knowing why, and then going through my list of things. Wild. And you and I have talked about this quite a bit. I think because I had started this process of perimenopause, it came on my radar a little bit earlier. I started having conversations with my um, gynecologist who was like, it's impossible. You can't be going through this. You're too young. But then
Mhm.
I would do some of these values and he'd say, God, actually, you're kind of on the line, Laura. This is interesting. I talked to my mom at the time when she had, my mom lives with Alzheimer's now, but she herself went through menopause probably by her late 40s. And my sister,
Mhm.
she herself went through a long breath of perimenopause as well. So it's not unheard of for me.
Mhm.
Also, with my history of sports and kind of the onset of menstruation for me was much later. There's some evidence that shows that when there's lots of trauma, the onset of menopause can be earlier as well. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of fitting all of these, the impact of traumas, the family history. My mom has like a history of trauma. It was starting to make sense to me. And once I could say, you know what, it's perimenopause. Like, so what? I'm like early to mid 40s and I can recognize it. Then started the journey of accepting. And so when I woke up in the middle of the night, I wouldn't be like, I have to go back to sleep because there'd be
Mm.
an anxiety of trying to get back to sleep. Like, oh my God, I'm not sleeping enough. And
Mm.
once I could just be like, I'm up. So what?
Yeah.
So then I would start sort of actively resting. And then what has changed for me is like, well, if I'm tired, I'm tired. If I can't remember, I can't remember. Maybe it's not that important right now. I will get back to it. Through this journey, I've learned about my own PTSD, my own ADHD as well. So there's like
Mhm.
been a lot of new things to learn at this time. And so I don't see it as so much as like oh, these are these lacks, or, my body is changing, but there's been a lot more gentleness and grace. And I think it
Mm,
helps a lot too that I have amazing friends and we're all talking about it too.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I really appreciate as we are going through this journey of our careers and our professional lives, because we are all very high performing people, that I
Mhm.
don't have to do it alone.
Yeah, yeah, and to back to your question of how it has impacted sort of me professionally, my identity is, really not beating myself up over, if I can't remember, if I started a sentence and I can't remember what I was going to say, because this happens so much at this age. And for folks in the audience that haven't gone through it or don't know what perimenopause is, it's basically, as women age, we lose estrogen in our body. And estrogen is, there's estrogen receptors all over your body. And so if there's different parts of your body that sort of stop working and functioning, high functioning, right, as well as they used to, it's because of the estrogen loss that's starting to happen. But yeah, like, I appreciate that we're having this conversation here between me and you. I appreciate that we're having it for your audience, for the public. I do think a lot of these conversations tend to happen, just behind closed doors or just, in corners because the word is just not normalized or public enough yet. And we're, in this space, we're making it happen. And I think that that's one of the um, um, missions that I have undertaken in this sort of new chapter of mine, which is to, say perimenopause, get other people to say perimenopause, make it just like a everyday term that, we're all talking about. And that is just something that happens to all women, and that we need to find more, solutions, advocate for better solutions, get better policies, get just more people into the mix so that this doesn't have to be something that's talked about in the shadows, and it's something that everybody, can really better understand or and have awareness about. And so, in terms of what I'm doing now, number one, I'm being more vocal, right? So just going back to the whole like Asian American story and identity, it's we've learned to just kind of keep our heads down, get our work done, don't say anything, don't
Mhm.
complain. And so, it's definitely been a learning journey for me to be a stronger advocate for myself and use my own story to hopefully encourage others to be more vocal as well and to advocate for the care that they need, and whether that's at the doctor's office, with their policymakers, with just whoever's out there with their spouses and partners to really understand what's going on, and their children, to support. Yeah, so being more vocal and getting more comfortable with being more vocal about our stories is important. And I've also entered into a space where I am supporting a couple of organizations that are,
Mhm.
very focused on this issue. I'm really appreciative that I've found a couple of places that are really working to get greater awareness, get more funds for research, get more people talking about menopause and perimenopause. One of them is the Empowered Menopause. It's a nonprofit based in New York that raises funds for more menopause research. And so I've joined as a strategic advisor for this organization, and we have a big Millions for Menopause 5K coming up in Prospect Park, Brooklyn, on October 3rd. Thanks for the banners. That is so cool. I am helping to get more people out here. This walk and run is for women, children, families, anybody who cares about this topic and wants to support, wants to come out, show up, and raise funds for much needed menopause research. Um, that's one organization I'm working with. And the other is called the Menno Midlife Collective. This is also a new nonprofit based in Brooklyn. And this nonprofit is really special because one of the things that I notice in my learning about menopause is that there's a lot of people out there, starting to talk about it more, which is amazing. There's a lot of influencers, there's doctors, there's practitioners, there's celebrities talking about it. And I think that, women of color really have unique experiences in the healthcare system, in their own experiences with menopause. Symptoms are different. The length of symptoms can be different for women of color. And I think it's been, in my own experience, it's been harder to get doctors to notice and take it seriously. And being a woman of color is part of that experience. And so, with the Menno Midlife Collective, we're really trying to amplify and uplift the stories, the voices, the experiences of women of color in this space so that, we can add that to the knowledge base and really just um, amplify solutions that meet women, but also more importantly, what are the amplify the unique needs of women of color as well. So we're definitely looking for more women of color to share their voices, share their stories like I did, and really build our collective. So yeah, those are, two really exciting initiatives that I'm a part of right now.
Thank you so much for sharing, Sin. I just got to, there's a lot of really great flowers for you here. We've got, oop, can we show on stage? Got it. So we have Jose. Jose's here saying, thank you both for sharing your personal stories and perspectives with all of us. We've got Stacy here. Stacy, such an important conversation, deeply relatable. Thank you both for letting us listen in. Thanks for being here, Stacy. And you've got Erica Phillips here. Empowered and Menopause loves Cynthia Wong. All the spaces for sure. Yeah, not surprising, yours. And like once you are a part of something, as Cynthia does, everybody, this is the beautiful thing of working with Sin as a consultant, as a coach. She'll get after it. She'll definitely get after it. So it's really, really awesome to have you be a voice in these spaces. I don't know how to. There we go. Um, as we just got a couple minutes left, Sin, and I think what's coming to mind, I can go in so many different directions, and maybe we can come back and keep talking about this. But you've mentioned research, talking to doctors, being aware, sharing your story. Um, as a community, then let's get back to this community. Like these are things that we can notice for ourselves, like not ignoring when we're noticing something feels a little bit off. Like we're not crazy. We've been gaslit for a long time to think like, oh, it's just foggy brain. I'm just getting older. Everything used to be like getting older. And what's
Mhm.
fascinating is that like right now, I am at my mother-in-law's house and she lives with Alzheimer's. My mom also lives with Alzheimer's. I was astounded by some of the newest research that's coming out with like connections with dementia, with menopause and hormones and there's so much. This whole field can just blow open.
Mhm.
So from this point of view, I think you and I are sharing our story, letting everybody know that it's okay, first of all, that you are noticing, and that if you're noticing changes, there's nothing wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with you. In
Mhm.
fact, it's just part of who we are, and it's part of the transition. And the more that we can share a story and recognize that we are normal, my
Mhm.
gosh, like actually, it helps a lot to really organize, I think. Um, what are some things that you would share to your point of like our partners, our kids, our loved ones? What are some
Mhm.
ways that they can support us in when we're noticing some of these changes? What can we say to our community?
Yeah. Yeah, I one of the things that I've done with my husband is share with him when I hear a good podcast about the things that women go through with perimenopause and menopause. I just share the pod. He loves podcasts, and so it brings us kind of on the same like plane. So we're, kind of learning about it together, talking about it together, and it becomes more normalized, for him, as he learns, through listening and educating himself as well. And I think that, I'm definitely starting to see more of that, just sharing the information, um, uh, in whatever formats, I think younger people might like, stuff on TikTok or social media. So things like that, we can all educate ourselves in the formats that are relatable for people as well.
I love it. Thanks so much. So just everybody just know that we're all in this together. It is a communal um stage of life for everybody. And I really just appreciate that. I mean, shout out to Gen X because I feel like we're the ones who are really using our voice in all of this. So we're
That's
pretty
right.
great.
I do want to say,
Oh
Laura,
yeah, go ahead.
I know we got to wrap up soon, but I do want to
Uh-huh.
thank you, Laura, because if it wasn't for Laura Collins, I would not have the courage to come out here and speak my story and speak my truth. Laura has inspired me with her own, kind of putting herself out here, her story out there with her podcast, doing this LinkedIn Live, just being so authentic and honest with people about her own journey, and so I just want to shout you out too for kind of leading the way and paving the way for folks like me to have the courage to follow and
Thanks, and
say something.
thank
Yeah.
you. Oh God, thanks a lot. Now I'm because I'm blushing. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you, LinkedIn user who's saying thanks for creating this space, bringing yourself into the work the way you do. You're both brave and magical and even more. Thank you so much. And together the world needs all. Yes. And one last one, we got to give heads up. Oops. There we go. Pushing play on the Menopause podcast. Thank you both for sharing such great advice. Awesome. Thanks for being here. And Jose is reminding us that there is some great podcasts out there. Yeah. Hey, everybody, if you know a great podcast, don't be shy to put them in the comments and let's share, let's expand and let's share knowledge about some of the good stuff out there. Um, all right. We are
Yeah.
at the end. Cynthia, thank you so much. Everybody, please connect with Cyn. She's amazing. She's working with programs, nonprofits, all kinds, as well as like coaches. She's a great coach. You can find her at cynthiawongconsulting.com. And you can connect with Sin on LinkedIn. She's also on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you for being available, Sin. And if you need to reach me, as usual, everybody, you can reach out to me on the website. You can DM me or LinkedIn. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you so much. Sin, we can't wait to have you back. Bless you all. And I'll see you in a couple weeks when my guest is going to be Neil Paulus, who's a mental health, mental performance coach. It's perimenopause. And we look forward to seeing you then. All right. Take care, everybody. Be well. Bye.
Thank you.